Morning, Glory, America. Bonjour, hi, Canada. I'm Hugh live in Studio West, where the wind is howling and will continue to howl. If you're just waking up on the East Coast, be very assured you have no idea what it's like in Southern California. You may turn on a feed, but you have no idea because you can't hear the wind. It's at both studio, our production studio and the studio from which I broadcast, and the wind is gusting, I would guess, 70 miles an hour at times. Pretty regular gust at 40 miles per hour. And we can see pictures at night of LA burning. By that I mean there are three separate fires, one in Sylmar, one in Pasadena, and one in Pacific Palisades. And if I can draw you a little map in your mind, start at Malibu. If you know where Malibu is, it's the beach to the stars just north of Santa Monica. And put a fire on the top of Malibu in your mind, and then move directly east all the way over to Pasadena as though you were driving on I guess that would be the 101. And in between, if you took a left turn and drove up 30 minutes, you get to Sylmar. So you've got a kind of inverted T of three major fires. There are smaller fires in Southern California tonight. None in Orange County, where I live, work, broadcast, teach, yet. But it's a long 12 hours ahead. More than 50,000 people have had to flee their homes. Hundreds of homes have been burned to the ground. They are out of water in Pacific Palisades, where the first fire began. The water pressure has failed. There's no water. And the fires are 0% contained, which is always the worst of the conditions, I can tell you. And there's not much I can add to other than if you take a look at, if you're watching on the Salem News Channel, and it might be a good morning to do that, you'll see the Palisades, Altadena, Pasadena, and Sylmar fires, a fourth one now in Altadena. The Eaton fire, the Pacific Palisades, they get funny names. I don't know who makes up the names, but it's a very bad morning. My phones are open, 1-800-520-1234. If you're near the perimeter of the fire, give me a call and just tell me what it looks like. 1-800-520-1234. I cannot see. I'm in Orange County. I'm an hour away. Everybody's safe. I have no idea how my friends are doing up there. I did talk to my dear friend Len and Judy last night, offered to say, hey, you want me to come over and pick you up? And they were going somewhere else, and they were getting out. That's really what I wanted to know, is that they're in Mandible Canyon, and we love going to their home, and we always think about what the heck do you do if you have to get out of here? Because you got to drive down. These canyons are unbelievable. Los Angeles is a Pathway Evolution Exhibit A. Pathway evolution is that which happens because something just a little bit different happened before that, which just a little bit different happened before that. So the infrastructure in Southern California is simply not equipped. So think East Palestine times 10, maybe times 100, and there is only bravery from the Los Angeles Fire Department, Police Department, by the reciprocal resource aid agreements that exist. So basically every firefighter who can be found in Southern California, and many from Las Vegas, have come to the scene of this disaster. I've seen big fires before. I was not I consider Northern California is not really Southern California. The Berkeley fire many years ago that destroyed 300 homes, we're going to have something at least as big as that when the sun comes up. The Laguna Beach fire, which I could see from my home in the middle of Orange County, destroyed hundreds of homes. That I can remember. I've had to pack up twice over 30 years. This is not a normal event. Fire season is normal. Lots of fires happen where people aren't. Very few fires happen where this began. Way close. The trouble was just way close on a Santa Ana day. And the El Diablo, the devil winds, the Santa Ana winds are blowing. Those are winds that blow, for the benefit of the Steelers fans, from the east to the west, not from the west to the east, which is typical. And when you see the airplanes landing in the opposite direction, I live close enough, I can see John Wayne Airport. Whenever I see them coming in from over the ocean as opposed to from over the continent, you realize the winds are pretty bad. And the Santa Anas are a regular feature of life. This is not something we weren't ready for. We were obviously not ready for it. We being collective. I'm not blaming Gavin Newsom. You can't do anything. Literally, you can't do anything to prevent. If you're going to live in California, you're going to deal with this every 10 years. And you're going to pack your car a few times. You're going to pray that you don't. My friend Leslie Marshall has lost her car. And Leslie and I have done special report with her home, not her car. What am I saying? Leslie Marshall, pretty certain she's lost her home. And, you know, Leslie and I have known each other and worked with each other for 25 years. She's been wrong for 25 years, but a wonderful person. And so prayers for Leslie. She just posted a quick picture. We think we've lost our home. And it is zombie apocalypse now. The fire started middle of the afternoon yesterday when the winds had begun to pick up. Started out as a 20-acre brush fire. No containment units are rushing to the scene. Then you begin to listen because that's pretty close to Pacific Palisades. Pacific Palisades may be the most beautiful neighborhood in America. And I know some people love Malibu, but there are not many people living in Malibu. Malibu is one street. Malibu is just the Pacific Coast Highway on both sides of it. A couple of side streets, and there will be some people who lose their homes on those side streets. I'm not indifferent to that. But the Pacific Palisades is a big, giant neighborhood with a high school and lots of elementary schools. And it won't be there in the morning. It is, 3 o'clock in the morning right now when I'm talking to you. And it's just tragic. So it started in the middle of the day. So hopefully children are at school. Children are quickly seen off and taken to collection centers. They're not driven home. Mass casualty event at Duke's, and I've been at Duke's dozens of times, as everyone in Southern California is listening to me, who goes out and drives up to Santa Barbara, you go by Duke's, and that's apparently the site of a mass casualty event. But I'm not going to report rumor. I'm just going to tell you I've never seen anything like this. 1-800-520-1234. 1-800-520-1234. What hurricanes are to Florida, fires are to California. Earthquakes are different. Earthquakes are unpredictable events that are known to almost certainly going to happen. So you build an anticipation of them. Fires are ubiquitous in Southern California. I'm looking at another picture watching on your screen right now. And it's extraordinary because wind-driven firestorms I've only seen one since I moved back in 1989. I left in 2016. I come back to teach in the spring every other year at Chapman Law School. I'll teach dozens of students con law, and I'm the originalist of the originalist left, so I don't want to not do that. So I'm back every spring for 3.5 months and teaching and listening and watching, but I have never seen anything like this. And by that I mean this much fire for this long. I've seen big fires in a residential area. I want to make that clear. Not just a residential area. The Palisades where Arnold lived. The Palisades is where everybody lives. I mean, some stars live in the Hollywood Hills. Some celebrities live in Studio City. But if you go from Pasadena, you drive the 101 from Pasadena to Pacific Palisades, you've gone by 85% of the people that you see at the award ceremonies. And they're all just like everybody else this morning, at the mercy of Mother Nature and seeking the mercy of the gracious God that nobody gets hurt. It's memories, it's houses, it's tragic. There's only one person in my family who's gone through a house fire, fetching Mrs. Hewitt's first cousin. And it was pretty tragic. It's a very hard thing to do, to lose a house that you've lived in for any amount of time. But they weren't hurt, and they didn't lose their pets. A lot of people realized that they left their pets at home yesterday when they went to work. They never got back home. I don't know where people were. Everyone was staying at different places last night. They were just, you can't do anything. You can't get into the area. But it's simply unprecedented. And we'll figure out where the best place to send help. I know Americans are generous. We'll find out who can do that, whether it's Food for the Poor or somebody. You can always count on Catholic Charities or Salvation Army, but it's a wicked morning in Southern California.